Well, hello, my friends, and welcome to Siggy Air. Today we are in Florence, Italy, Valencia, Italia, in this beautiful P180 Avanti, and picked up this baby from the marketplace on 2020. Now I'm back to Flight Simulator 2020. I really had it for now with 2024 with all of the issues here. But here we are on 2020, and we're going to take a look at this airplane. I have flown a couple of times on it. It is just magnificent. I love it. And we're going to take kind of an in-depth look at it. And we're going to start from cold and dark. And we're going to take a flight. We're going to take some people to Courchevel in the Alps. Courchevel, we're going to do some snowboarding and skiing there. And it should be a great flight to get acquainted with this particular aircraft here on Siggy Air. Okay, without further ado, let's take a look at the aircraft here. And as you can see, there's some covers here, and we are in 2020, but the covers will be removed through the EFB. See, nicely done here by Flight FX. I think that, I mean, and this is really, you picked this up for $24.99. I think it's a bargain. Some of the textures are okay, others are really well recreated here. I'm just gonna try to get close in here. So it's kind of shiny over here. It's hard to tell. If you go into places like this, you can see how, you know, these textures are not magnificent, I would say, but they're good. They're really good. I mean, you're paying $24.99 for this aircraft here. I just want to take a look at this is the cargo bay over here. And it's nicely done. As you can see, there's even a little rug here to make sure that they don't damage the door frames or anything like that. So that's nice. You got the engine over here. These are push engines, so they are turboprops, but they are pushing rather than pulling, and so that helps reduce the noise level in the cabin. And then one of the main features of this aircraft is this. People will call it an elevator here in front, but it's actually more of a flap stabilizer type of wing rather than a true stabilizer. The stabilizer is over here in the back, but these are act as flaps, mini flaps. So if you can see this aircraft, it looks like a catfish. Or, you know, if you paint that black, it looks like it has a mustache, I would say. All right, enough of that. Why don't we just get inside? All right, looks like the weather in Courchevel is winds are 5 knots out of 350 at 5. Visibility is great. Temperature is 7 degrees Celsius. Not too bad. Hopefully the snow is not melting. And there's no precipitation, so it should be a nice fly into Courchevel. No weather to speak of that's going to hinder our landing there. So hopefully we can make a nice landing there. All right, so enough of that. We are going to get going here on our flight, and we're gonna, you know, show you how to get this baby started. And luckily we have a fairly nice comprehensive manual here. Has a checklist and everything. So we'll go through the checklist here from the manual. And we'll skip some of the things, and then but focus on the important ones to get this baby started here. All right, so make sure that before start checklist, we're gonna secure our doors here. So main door and luggage door are secured. Excellent. Crew and passengers are briefed. They only care that we're going skiing, snowboarding. Seat belts are adjusted, and the battery switch goes to on. Fuel quantities are checked, so we should have enough fuel. We got about 1,000 to 1,160 pounds of fuel. That should be enough for our flight. Parking brake is set over here, and avionics master goes to COM 1 only. So that's, want to make sure that we get that in there. And we're not going to use ATC. I don't want to complicate this whole thing with getting ATC. I just want to, do a nice flight over there, and we can manage in the airspace. All right, so engine start. We'll do a normal startup here. First engine will be our right engine. So battery or GPU, which is already set here. And anti-collision lights go to ground. Power levers to idle. Condition levers to cut off. Firewall valve is set to open. Fuel pumps test and main. So right fuel pump will go and test, and then main. Fuel pressure is checked off, which it is on the right engine. Bleed air switches are off. Over here, ignition switch check to norm. Ignition right engine check to norm. Propeller is clear. Engine switch to start. And then we're going to monitor over here our NG over 13%. Our condition lever goes to ground idle. And then we monitor our ITT. Needs to be below 1,000. We check for increasing oil pressure and temperature. That looks good. And then the engine switch actually checks off after automatically after we reach all our parameters here. And that looks like a good engine start for the right engine. And then we're going to turn on our generator. Right generator goes on, and we'll follow the same procedure for our left engine. So ignition to norm, fuel pump check in main, valve is on, left engine NG to 13%, condition lever to ground idle, and we monitor our fuel pressure, our fuel oil pressure and temperature. Okay, it's fairly pleasant and not too hot here in Florence, so I'm not going to open. Usually, if it was too hot, we would open the oil cool valve, but we're not going to do that now. We're going to then turn on our left generator on. So all of the lights are extinguished on the engines here, and then we are going to continue with our checklist here. Next thing we do is we are going to advance our condition levers to flight idle, and then our hydraulic pump switches go on. and we make sure that we monitor the pressure here, and that's it. Then we turn on the rest of our lights here, position lights and recognition lights. Okay, and that's a good start. This looks good. Look at that, beautiful. All right, let's then turn on our avionics, and we're gonna program our FMC. Now, the only thing that this doesn't have is a connection to SimBrief, so you're gonna have to do this the manual way, which is fine. This is a fairly simple FMC. Let's see if I can get that better position. So we're gonna first initialize our position here, and we're just gonna click on that. It gets initialized, and then we're going to flight plan, and our origin is LIRQ. And our destination is LFLJ. Okay, 218 miles. We're gonna do our departure, and that's gonna be runway 5. And we have, it's gonna direct to, the departure is Baluk 6G over here, and there's no transition, and we're gonna execute that. All right, and then our arrival, it's gonna be runway 4, and there is no standard arrivals, and we're going to execute that. Going to the legs, and then we're going to move ahead here, and after bulk we're going to program via M73730, and that's direct to top, and then we're going to take L50, and that's going to go to DSO, and there we have it. Then we direct to runway 4, and we can go ahead and clear this discontinuity, this visual here. Clear that out. That's direct to the visual runway, and we're going to execute that. Like I said, I think this aircraft, it's great, not study level, but with a few updates, I think it can get there. It's fantastic. So let's not get distracted here. Stall. We need to make sure that our pitos are and stall heats are on, and then we're gonna arm auto feather. Okay, and all of our warning lights are extinguished. Beautiful. Then we're gonna take a look at, so we're gonna come in and continue with our checklist. Before start checklist, before taxi checklist here. We're gonna do some test here. And one thing about this that I like about this aircraft is that the systems test is really pretty cool and straightforward. I'm gonna get rid of this. And so the first test we're gonna do is gonna be our EPU test. And that's the emergency power unit. So our first test we're gonna do is we're gonna arm our emergency power unit over here, and arm it, and then test it, or test it and then arm it. So my bad. And then avionics switch goes on, and we already did that. And then environmental temperatures goes to auto, temp select as necessary, and probably it's a little bit cold out there, so we'll keep it our environmental heating, we'll just keep it on auto, and that should be fine at this point. So bleed air switches set to L and R positions, left and right, and pressurization goes to, we're gonna do this, we're gonna keep it pressurization cabin at auto, so it manages your pressurization. The only thing you need to do is just to set your landing cabin altitude and your barometric pressure at your destination. So Courchevel, Courchevel is at an elevation of 6,583. Okay, so we're gonna set that to 6,600 over here, and then it's gonna manage that, and then we're gonna set our altimeter to 30.03. Over there. So then the pressurization system will do this manually, so we shouldn't be too concerned about this. We just have to monitor that. Excellent. And all right, we're kind of burning a little bit too much fuel here, so let's get going. Engine coolers, I think that we are fine with that because it's fairly cold in here in Florence, so we're gonna leave that. Radios are checked, and the air data computer, if installed, is checked. And then we'll go through the test over here. So the first one we'll just do is going to be the overspeed warning right there, and you can hear that. The hydraulic system, so you come in and select that and press, and I'm just gonna bring it up so you can look that. That's there. Steering system is tested. Now I'm not gonna, there's an issue here. I'm not sure if it's a bug or what, but I'm not gonna do that until I read a little bit more about it and go to their Discord and see. When I press and test the steering system, the light comes on and it doesn't extinguish until you're in mid-flight. So I'm not sure if that's the correct behavior of this, so I'm just gonna do it. Then we're gonna do the steering is taxi over here. So our On this particular aircraft, you can select your realism, and if you checked on automatic steering mode, it's going to switch from taxi steering, which we are now, we can see it here, to takeoff steering. So if you have this checked off, you test that out, and then you switch on your mode steering over here once you are on the runway. But we're gonna leave it like that, and we don't need to test it at this point. And then pitot installed heats are checked, which they are here, and extinguished. And we'll do the flap test and the stall test here. Stall. You hear the warning. Flapsing is tested. Then de-icing is tested, and then the minimum warnings are tested, and engine exceedance is tested. All right, fairly straightforward. I like it. So we are all set after all those tests, and let's get going. Probably we don't need any icing at the moment. Weather looks good. It's just cold. No visible moisture in the air. All right, so let's get going. We are going from runway runway 5, just to make sure. And the other thing that we have here that I didn't show it to you before is our Navigraph integration. And here we go. It's basic. It's no it doesn't give you your flight plan, even though if you go to your regular Navigraph account, it will show it to you, but this one doesn't give you your flight plan, but you can use it just to look at your taxiing, which is gonna turn around and come in to runway 5. The other one, if you don't have a Navigraph account, is the map that comes with it. And there, it's actually not bad. It gives you a good way of looking at your taxi, except on this particular airport it doesn't have the level. Oh, there we go. So just take a little while to refresh. So it gives you some, yeah, it's very good. The taxiways are correct. So if we look at Navigraph here, that should be taxiway C. In this case, actually no. So perhaps this one is G, and in the map here maybe it's G. Some it's just hard to see. Anyway, we'll use Navigraph here for the moment, just to the taxi, and we are set to go. We're going to turn on our taxi lights on, and we're going to turn around here. Let's see, should be turning around. I'm not going to have a pushback here, although you know what, this is actually an aircraft where you can have your pushback, at least on the simulator with this. have them push us back here. We're doing a couple of things out of sequence, but that's alright. It's a simulator, you can do whatever you want. Parking brake goes off. Yeah, except that it doesn't work as good here. Yeah, sometimes it's just a little bit clunky, but here we go. Got to push back here. I don't know what that aircraft is doing. It's got a short runway there. Should be going around, but that's what you get with Microsoft 2020. That's quite some braking. All right, so pushback is done. Parking brake goes on. Let's get back into it. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. You do a great job. All right, so parking brake off. And now there's a way of controlling the speed here with the beta range over here. Sometimes it's a little bit, you have to find the right spot. Otherwise you either stop or you go too fast. But since we have a short way to get to runway 5, that's not going to be an issue for us. And we're just going to depart right away here. We don't have any traffic coming in. And now that we're here, we're going to do the engine run up here. Should be important, and it's not too complicated. Parking brake goes on. Condition levers to max. Power levers advance to 2000 RPMs. Just about there. Propeller overspeed test. Do that. So let's see if I can just come in here and do the test for the left engine, and it should drop 150, which it did. So if you see it over here, good. And then we'll do that for the right engine, and it should drop the same amount, 1855, 1850. Excellent. All right, auto feather goes test and then arm. That's over here. Auto feather goes to test, just down, and then arm. Here. And parking brake is released. And we're all set. That's the run up. Alright, so right now, as you can see, we are on taxi steering. We're going to set our altitude to our cruise altitude, which is set it at 12,000. Sometimes this goes a little bit fast here. There we go, 12,000. We're gonna sync our heading out here, and we're ready to go. Flaps to mid. Should have done that earlier, but that's okay. Alright, let's advance the throttle slowly so we don't overspeed here. And our rotation speed is going to be about 108 to 115. Positive rate, gear up. Beautiful city of Florence. Trim the aircraft. I'm just going to bring the power levers back so I don't overspeed on the ITT, and going to trim the aircraft. So this is, like I said before, this is a fantastic aircraft to and fly. It's just very responsive. It's not jerky. Like you get, like for example, the TBM 850. It's a little bit jerky. It doesn't fly as smoothly as this particular one does. Alright, so let's continue our turn into our flight plan. Just beautiful. Just really a joy to